Hello everybody. Welcome or welcome back to the Haunted Pineapple. Sorry it's been so long since our last video. I had my mad crazy allergies really kick in this year in overdrive, and we had a death in the family, so that kind of took priority over a lot of things in our life. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you stick around, check out things, see what we get into, see where we go. We have a lot of plans that we've got in the works, so hopefully you guys will stick around, subscribe, and take a chance and see how we do things here on the Haunted Pineapple. If this is not your first time and you are coming back to the show, welcome. So glad you came back. I've missed doing this. It's taken so long for me to get things together. Before I go any further, I'd like to preface this with a PSA. April, as well should be any other month or day of the year, is Child Abuse Awareness Month. If you see something, say something. I myself was a victim of child abuse, and no one ever said anything. I ended up speaking out for myself. If you see bruises, broken bones on a child that you're familiar with, either you're a teacher or a family member, please say something to your Child Protective Service or local authorities. You could possibly end up saving a child's life. A lot of times they'll say, oh, well, they're just clumsy. Oh, they just fall all the time. Well, that is a very common excuse or answer. Children that suddenly become withdrawn or are very withdrawn, that's another sign. Bruises all the time. Children are clumsy, but they're not that clumsy. So please, if you see something, say something. Report it. Get involved. If you are a child that has somehow stumbled upon this, please find someone you can trust. Reach out. We will believe you. There's someone out there in your life that will help you. If you can, go to the authorities. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we started about probably four videos or so, give or take, mysteries, urban legends, in the state of Wisconsin. I have a whole bunch more ready to go, working on. Some of these places that I will mention might possibly end up on our list to visit during the latter spring and summer months. So stay tuned, stick around. Tonight we're going to talk about the Bodega Brew Pub. Now, back in the autumn of 1906, AJ, known by his friends Skimmer Hine, bought what he named the Union Saloon. About 5 years prior, the previous owner, Paul Mullen, had owned it, and he had a terrible terminal illness, and in 1901 decided to end his life. So about 5 years later is when AJ comes along, and he and his wife purchased the Union Saloon. He and his wife lived upstairs in the upstairs apartment, which is subsequently where Mr. Paul Mullen decided to end his life. And while they lived up there, AJ would work the saloon downstairs. Now, it seemed to become an issue with a lot of things happening and going on. In January, of 28 of 1907, the Lacrosse Tribune ran a story, just a short story with the headlines that read, "He saw the ghost of his predecessor." And it's reported that it says he sells the Union, and because of the shade of Mullen was there. Unable to sleep and unguarded because Mullen was constantly appearing in the old apartment, he suddenly sold the Union Saloon and left the town of Lacrosse. Sorry, I didn't know if I mentioned it was Lacrosse, but we're in Lacrosse, Wisconsin tonight. And he sold it, left town. This ran in the Lacrosse Tribune on January the 28th of 1907. So it said he left Tuesday, which would have been January the 22nd of 1907. And he left owing someone named unpaid bills. So they ran that in the newspaper. There is a supposed story, I'll say story, that was a conversation that was reportedly between A.J. Skimmerhine and a reporter from the Lacrosse Tribune. And this is kind of loosely based on the conversation that went on between A.J. and the reporter. And I want to preface this by saying anything that I'm saying was supposedly, obviously is not going to be word for word, and some of the opinions that are said are not going to be my opinions. This is just for informational only. So, this is a supported conversation between AJ and the reporter, whose name I could not find. But he's talking to the reporter, and he says, I just can't take this much longer. I can't sleep. I don't know. Everything was perfect. I have a beautiful saloon and a long line of other saloons. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I have German immigrants. That's guaranteed profits right there. They love a good libation. I have Irish immigrants coming in. Again, profits on top of profits. This should be a literal gold mine. I have Norwegian immigrants. That should be, oh well. At least I've got the German and the Irish. I don't know how I'm going to go on. It's every night. It's something. Shh. Did you hear that? And there's supposed footsteps that he's hearing as he's speaking with a reporter. Please tell me you hear that. I tell you, every night, Paul Mullen is haunting me. He is literally haunting me. Paul, you get away from here. This is my business. You had your chance. It's mine now. Go away and leave me alone. I absolutely have no idea how I am supposed to run a successful business when I can't sleep at night. I get no sleep because he's constantly walking around. He's either walking around, I hear footsteps all over the apartment, or I hear him with the glasses, tingling with the glasses all night long. You hear that? Supposed glasses clanging against each other. Oh, he's at the glasses again. Oh my God. Paul, you get the hell out of here now. You had your chance. Just leave. Get out of here, Paul, and leave me alone. It is said by the reporter that even the mayor mention of the upstairs apartment that AJ would literally and physically can be seen shaking, just trembling from head to toe. So the Tribune also ran a story, I believe it was in Halloween of 2005, stating that ghost in the coulee, that there are still reports of things that continue to go on at the Union Saloon, which is now named the Bodega Brew Pub. It is still in service today, operating. The current owner, says that, yeah, there are some things that goes on, but nothing that he deems fearful or anything that he feels deemed harmful or scary. He said he would not sleep in the apartment upstairs, although he has, and he says he had heard piano playing a few nights when he slept there in the apartment. There are constant reports of noises and such going on downstairs in the basement. There's a report of a particular wait staff who was closing up for the night, kept hearing footsteps and noises and such in the basement downstairs. Obviously, where else is a basement? And he went downstairs, he took bricks, and he situated them all up and down the basement door, just so he felt safer, or they felt safer. I'm not sure which, it was a he or she, so I'm going to say they. So they felt safer as they continued to go through the night and close up the saloon. It is reported that when they went back down, the bricks were disassembled from the way that he had put them up. There are still reports of different people that reported things coming and going here and there. So that's someplace that kind of piqued my interest. He was constantly fearful, obviously, because he bought this Union Saloon in the autumn of 1906 and sold it very few months later. So he didn't even hang on to it for a year. He was so terrified of living and working in the saloon that he sold it in 1907. So in January, so very few months at all that he stayed there. So I thought that was interesting, especially since it's a place that's still open, that is still operating. And like I said, is currently called the Bodega Brew Pub in Lacrosse, Wisconsin. Very interesting, I thought. I'm finding out a lot of things about the state that, I live in. And it's kind of cool. Like I said, I've gone and I've looked up other places that I'm interested in to do stories on, and that a few of the members are interested in going and visiting. So you might want to stay tuned and check back with us on that. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my actual paranormal experiences. This one is going to be a little different. I need to take a little bit of a break from my Lady in White. I will tell you other things that have happened in my life that that I recall and remember. This one was from a very early age. I would say I was probably 3 or 4, and I remember it so crystal clear, and it wasn't a dream. When I was younger, my parents and I had gone somewhere. It was in the winter. I remember it being in the winter time, and my cousin, which was my biological father's sister's family, their car was outside of our apartment or wherever we lived as we drove up, but there was no one in the car. So we went in the house and expected to see them in there, and walked completely through the house and no one was there. But when we went back out to see if the car was still there, and it wasn't, when I remember this, it wasn't just a car that looked like their car. You know, with people and family and friends, you know their vehicle apart from anyone else's, even if it's the same type of vehicle, just different things that are left in the car that are in the car. And we walked outside. I can remember distinctly going outside and it was gone. The car was gone. We never heard it. We never heard car doors, and they would have had to pass us in order to get out to their vehicle, and they weren't there. That I remember, and it's really strange. And this was previous, like way before I ever saw the lady in white. As I said earlier, I am a survivor of child abuse. My biological father was very abusive. I have cigarette burns, scars on my leg from where I was burned with a cigarette. There were times that things were done that I won't mention here. And nobody ever said anything. I guess no one ever noticed anything. And it was always when our mom was gone. And that's why I kind of felt I needed to say something. First of all, to mention that is Child Abuse Awareness Month, which again, like I said, should be every freaking day of the year. You should be aware of it. I am a survivor of child abuse. I'm not a victim. It wasn't my fault. And I realize that now. It was nothing I did other than being a child and being abused. And I honestly believe, and I said I wasn't going to talk about her, but I honestly believe that she was my guardian as opposed to a harbinger of bad news. I think that's why she looks so beautiful and I never felt scared around her. I think that's why I think that's why she came. Now, I'm just telling you what I've been through. You may not believe it, and that's fine, because that's your choice. That's your right. I can only tell you what I've experienced and what I've gone through. I'm sure there is a story that I know for a fact one of the members and I are going to revisit. She and I were there at this particular spot, and some things happened that were, to, for lack of a better phrase, on point to be coincidental. There's always like one coincidence, okay. Two coincidences, when it goes beyond that, I don't think it's any longer a coincidence. And she and I have talked, because it was just her and I at that time. And we are going to, I'm not going to tell you the name of the place because I don't know when we're going to go, but we are going to go back and visit this spot. I'm excited to go back and visit it because my friend that was with me was the only one that knew any of this information that came out. So we're going to go back and revisit that spot, and then we're going to do the story together, she and I. So anyway, I think that's why I think, and pardon my French, anybody who abuses children in any way, shape, form, or fashion, not shake, shape, form, or fashion, there's a special place in hell for you. 100%. Somebody innocent and helpless that has all of their fears pushed against them. If you tell, well, then I'm going to hurt your mom, or I'm going to hurt, your siblings. If you say anything to anybody, well, then this is going to happen. All of that rings very true. Very true. I'm kind of exposing myself here a little bit, my heart and my soul. But once you start talking about little bits of things that happen, be it paranormal or be it abusive, you're kind of bearing your soul and your heart. And I think that's why I'm so very empathetic, and I love children, and I just don't think there's any excuse. There's no excuse for anyone to be such a coward to pick on somebody and abuse somebody that's so helpless. Other than my cousins just disappearing that night, I've multiple times seen the lady in white. About 3 years ago in March, we had a puppy. We had a dog. Was just a member of the family. So loving, so smart, so adorable. We lost her. And after that, there were several times that I caught a family member like trying to get the cat or whatever off of them. Oh, come on, move out of the way, kitty, move out of the way. And the kitty is across the room. And there was nothing else around that you could visually see. There were multiple times. So I feel pets have souls. They hurt. They feel pain. They may not be able to tell you, but they do. There were multiple times that I felt like our pup was around and making their presence known. And those are just other side notes, other side things that have happened or that I've come across in my life. We will, as this journey goes on, we will dig deeper, go on in depth more about my lady in white, some of the things that happened after she showed up. And it wasn't like she would show up and then like 4 or 5 months down the road. It was usually pretty quick succession of seeing her and then something bad happening. I do know that she started coming around when my biological father was becoming abusive. And I think she was honestly an angel that was there to see over me, because it was just me. And so I never felt sad. I never felt scared. It was kind of a little apprehension because I knew something was going to happen. I knew it was, a matter of days. And usually spot on, something would happen. And it was always something pretty life-altering, to say the least. But yeah, I think that is going to be our story and our real urban legend, myth, true ghost stories for tonight. Um, I want you guys to know I appreciate each and every one of you. I looked and we have like 87 subscribers, and I never thought we'd get 20. So each and every one of you, thank you. I I so appreciate it. Um, we kind of say back, if you're going to go creeping, you better creep it real. They're just, it's like if you get caught in a lie, then I'm not going to believe anything you've told me. And I'm honest to a fault. Anything that we say here or you see here, that's one reason why it's not edited. I feel like that leads more to our honesty by not editing. So anything you hear from us or see from us, you can guarantee that's exactly what it is. So like I say in our description, either it's going to be freaky, creepy as all get out, or it's going to be boring. So, and there are some videos we have on here that nothing happened. We didn't catch anything. And that's just the way it goes. I feel like sometimes spirit like certain people, just like people like certain people, and spirit are attracted to certain people. So there are more stories, more happenings coming up. Some of them are a little harder to deal with. So some of them are harder to get out. But I love each and every one of you. I thank each and every one of you for stopping by, checking us out, and I hope you'll come back. You guys have a great night. Until next time, which won't be too long because I'm already getting a list of things to go on. So, thank you. Welcome and welcome back. I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thanks, guys.